Spend a little time. Ooh, I wanna make sweet love. Ooh, I wanna make sweet love. Ooh, I wanna make sweet love. Make sweet love.
You ever blame yourself for some shit you didn't do? Carry the weight for love, kept it moving, ain't never look back. 'Cause I see the bigger picture of being a victim. No, things get hard, you gotta be strong, I've been right there with you. So live your whole truth and be your whole you. Yeah, they can talk behind your back, but they can't hold you. I don't keep my drama or my feelings in a bottle. Take a shot, no drama, just want you to know what I know. It don't last forever, promise it gets better. You've been through the biggest storm, but you can change the weather. Been under pressure, you know my name. Whenever the heat comes, I put out the flame. It made me a diamond. It made me a diamond. It made me a diamond. You know my name. Sparkle pushing on the gas. Hey, I've been moving in the fast lane. Don't be looking in the past, 'cause when you're looking, you get past. Don't get it twisted, I ain't forgetting. You know I've been through a whole bunch of this shit. 'Cause I put a line on X now 'cause I'm lit. Can't nobody question I'm legit. I've been on the move, 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 move. Move, make it do what it do, 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 do. Ain't got nothing to prove, prove, prove. Redefining the cool, 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 hey. I don't keep my drama or my feelings in a bottle. Take a shot, no drama, just want you to know what I know. It don't last forever, promise it gets better. You've been through the biggest storm, but you can change the weather. Been under pressure, you know my name. Whenever the heat comes, I put out the flame. It made me a diamond. It made me a diamond. It made me a diamond.
No.
You know my name.
On.
Sparkle, sparkle. Sparkle, sparkle. Sparkle, sparkle. Focus on your mission and get to your bag. Get to your bag. Push the position you got. And they say you get it, your haters get mad. Focus on your mission and get to your bag. Get to your bag. Push the position you got.
Kris the Critic Relationship Hour with Gina B. Why you are not married. Number one, you ain't all that. I know that's hard for y'all to swallow. I don't look as good as my 22-year-old self. People need to realize that. You just ain't all that. And I get it. I got this master's degree. I went to this school, that school. I worked hard for this job, for this house. And then she over there got that man. And you don't have one. Men are very simple creatures. So, ladies, for you very accomplished ladies, I got some advice for them.
What's that?
I always say it like this. You can write this one down. Be a kitten, not a cat. What does that mean, Kris?
What does that mean?
You ever played with a kitten? It's real friendly. It almost acts like a puppy. And you want to play with it. You want to look at the little kitty. It just makes you feel good. Now, have you ever seen an adult cat? When it feels like it, it might rub against your leg and move away. But is that men like kittens?
Kittens will play with anybody. A cat is particular.
Listen, what did we learn? Men are very simple creatures.
Right.
You can fool us. We want you to laugh at our dumb jokes. So all you super smart women out there, you good looking women, you see a guy you like, you guys do make it out on a date. He actually pays for the date. When you're actually with that person, the dialogue is happening, the dinner is happening. You say, okay, this might work, this might work. It would help if you act a little blind.
Oh my God, Becky.
You're going to hear me say that a lot. Be nice to
So
him.
you
If you hear the worst joke ever, But if you sort of like them, laugh at it. There you go. Hey, it's a lot of married women out there. If we got any married women chiming in,
Look, maybe
if I'm telling a lie,
that one's a fake laugh.
let me know. Right.
What you're saying is that we should cater to the male ego, and that's what's ultimately going to get us married.
I'm first saying recognize that I think some of us, more women than men, look in the mirror. You ever seen a little lion look in the mirror and see somebody real big? They see somebody a little more fine than what they are. And I'm not calling anybody ugly, so I'm not here to bash anybody.
Let's look at Middle America, okay? Middle America is not attractive.
They're not?
Middle America is largely married.
Okay, I think we're on the same page then. People sort of, we get stuck to reality shows sometime and think we're supposed to have, I got a degree in a house, so I'm supposed to have Idris Elba or his twin.
Well, I mean, have you noticed, okay, so you remember your friends from high school, right? And you remember how they had all of these qualifications for, if she's going to lock me down, she got to be this, that. She's got to have an ass like bam.
That's all we really looked at. Stop right there. That's really what are men? Simple creatures. We want to be fed. We want you to laugh at us, give us some, and that's it. To get us.
Loving you has always
What's going on,
been
people? Happy
easy.
Tuesday. Happy February 4th. Welcome to the Kris and Gina Relationship Show. Dating with Purpose is on tap tonight. Joining me, my co-host with the most, to my left, your right, the beautiful, the incomparable Gina B.
Hey, good people.
Listen, we got a guest coming on, Khalid Scott. In 1 second, he's a licensed psychotherapist, everything.
Clinical social worker, right?
All of that. He's got a bunch of designations. He'll let us know. Before we get into that, we want to send our heartfelt condolences to Gina B and all her loved ones. Her dad, music Chicago legend, Gene Barge, passed away. He was 98 years young.
98.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I needed a distraction tonight, so the show
I
must
tried
go
to keep
on,
her off the show.
Yeah, I
She
find
wanted to come to the
staying
show.
busy always helps, and I do love doing the show.
So we will do the show.
We will do the show.
Show must go on.
Always.
But for you, I did bring, because I know you like the national days.
Yay.
It's actually National Hemp Day.
Hemp, H-E-M-P. So anyone who's smoking weed,
We could have used some hemp today.
we could have used some hemp. And
Can we do that live? Will
hemp?
Facebook kick us off?
I mean, hemp is legal.
Is it?
Hemp is legal.
Oh.
But THC is also legal.
What other drugs can we do? Can we pop pills?
Can we do?
just
I
asking.
don't know that we can do these drugs.
I
I mean, like
didn't know.
hemp. I mean, hemp isn't gonna.
That would be a good show.
Hallucinogenics in hemp.
That would be a good show. We popped a
Even though
couple
I
pills.
can, we popped some
Whoa.
pills. Popped a Molly and did the Kris and Gina relationship show. Let's see what happens, people.
It's
Ayahuasca.
it's National Homemade Soup Day.
I like homemade soup.
It's actually Facebook's
I used
birthday.
to make that for my dad.
It's Facebook's birthday.
Really? How many years?
They didn't even say
17?
it. It's like celebrate your friends or something like that.
Celebrate your friends on Facebook.
And it's
whatever.
this word. I can't. It's some candy date.
Mid-Jewel date day.
Yeah.
Oh, Mid-Jewel dates. I love Mid-Jewel dates because you can do all kinds of fun things with them. You can make date caramel.
I knew you knew.
Can make,
I knew you knew what it was.
Yeah. Mid-Jewel dates are great. You can make date caramel, which substitutes sugar. Like if you can dip apples into it, it's really good.
So right before we bring our guest in, here's why. Well, let's just bring him in. Dating with Purpose. Let's bring in brother Khalid Scott. Woo! He's always got some good stuff to say. I can't see him yet. We have a little bit of a delay here.
Yeah, we have some seconds.
All right. So, brother Scott, are you there?
I am here.
Yay.
How are you, sir? I can't see you yet. I'm guessing you'll pop up in 1 second.
Good.
Thank you for coming on the show.
There he is.
In
Thank you
such
for
short
having me.
in such short notice. I was canceling the show today.
Yeah.
Gina B said the show must go on. So we're at the show.
Yeah, there's nothing better for, and Khalid might agree with this as a counselor, that there's, when you have a fatality and you have with death in the family, it's sometimes helpful to stay busy. And whether
he would know that, not me.
What do you think, Khalid? Is that a healthy way to address this?
Absolutely. And listen, beloved, my condolences to you.
Thank you.
I know you have a lot of emotions going on right now. Just take it one moment at a time and know that you are loved.
Thank you.
First and foremost.
I really think you should be
absolutely right, especially in this time frame when it's brand new. Busyness is going to be your good friend, and then slowly but surely you'll de-escalate and unwind, and then everything will come at you, and you'll still get through it because Daddy lived a wonderful life, and the biggest blessing is you.
Thank you.
Sure was.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Khalid, you have the most soothing voice
you do
ever. I really think you need your own. I know you're licensed. You're going to let us know all you did, but you really need a radio show that comes on late at night. I'm telling you, I use it. I know. Some money in that voice somewhere. Some more money.
Appreciate it.
So the reason we're doing this show, Dating with a Purpose, I want you, I'm just going to run through some things and you just start us off. I want to discuss the dating landscape from your lens, because you see a lot of people that, frankly, are going to make it or aren't going to make it, right? You got people coming in, therapy, counseling, all that. The dating landscape, you see social media, it's a little bit in a flux. Men want certain things. We're our usual selves, and women want certain things. They're just not meeting a lot today. There are a lot of factors. We got social media. We got reality TV. We got news sources from everywhere. We got stressful political times. We got a lot going on. But that's the reason for this show. I think, and I want to get your professional view, that folks should be a little more purposeful when they're using their time and resources with another human.
Right.
So that's where we are. But first, can you let folks know what you do, all your designations, and then Gina B will start peppering you with questions.
That's my
Absolutely. Well, again, my name is Khalid Scott, and as always, family, thank you for thinking of me enough to have me on your wonderful show, and especially talking about this certain subject matter. My name is Khalid Scott. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I have about 8 more credentials behind my name, all
yes, you do.
Social service related, that says I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, and, the back of this wall, tells the rest of the story. During the day, I work with veterans in a homeless program at Jesse Brown VA Hospital. And then at night and on the weekends, I do private practice where I do both marriage and individual, sessions. And it's funny, I have 15 African-American men in therapy. And you may say, well, what's the big deal about that? I'm telling you, pre-pandemic, you couldn't have brothers into therapy, right? And now after the pandemic, men are running to therapy, which is a fantastic thing, right? Fantastic, because men recognize that we've been broken, and we've been broken for a while. Mm-hmm. And because we're broken, we have broken our women, and we have broken our children, which has led to broken communities. And every man that's in therapy with me, include the clients I'm meeting with marriage therapy, they all are there because of relationship issues.
Yep, I got it. I got a buddy who's going through some marital issues right now in therapy. It's an awesome thing.
And so we have a comment real quick. Deo F asks if you're a VA counselor, because he's been looking for a Black therapist.
Right. So I work in the homeless program, but I'm also the alcohol and drug counselor for that particular program, only working with the homeless.
Okay. So
they'll get it, inbox me. Maybe we could talk about you doing private therapy.
Okay.
Or contact me and we could figure out a counselor at the VA hospital.
Great. Thank you for addressing that. Okay, so let's launch in.
I got a question going in. You mentioned that, because I'm a believer that everybody needs a little bit of therapy, especially black folk. But you did mention men breaking women and breaking children. Who breaks men? I'm just...
Society has broken us, Kris.
I got it.
Society. With
It's
society.
broken me. Yeah, it is what it is.
Gina, please get him.
I know.
Get him.
Like,
Well, my kids break me a little bit too. The wife smacks me around.
he was trying to get you to say that women break men.
I didn't say
Khalid.
that. I don't think. I don't know.
He was trying to lead you.
I don't think
I
they
know
do.
he was.
I don't think they do. I do think society does, but I also think I think parents break kids. I think society breaks men and women, but that's all I'm saying.
Right. But guess what, Kris? You hit it right there. If you talk to anybody who's dealing with depression, right? Anybody with any diagnosis, and if you are a counselor, you would not believe that most traumas come from when you were a child.
Absolutely.
You were a child, and something that happened in that period. And that's why you have people dealing with arrested development. Have you ever heard of arrested development? And not the TV show.
And not the group.
I was about the group made some banging.
Right. Well, arrested development is that you experience a trauma, right? And say I got molested at 9 years old. So at 55, I'm physically a 55-year-old. But to be honest, psychologically, I'm the 9-year-old who was sexually abused. My thought patterns, my psyche is of a 9-year-old, though I'm a 55-year-old physical man.
Wow.
Yep.
Yes,
That
absolutely. Absolutely. And so when you say, hey, our parents, and again, it's generational, right? It's generational. And that's when we have to decide, are we going to break certain curses? Oftentimes when I'm talking to my male clients, Kris and Gina, they'll tell me the reason why I cheat so much is because dad, granddad, Uncle Big Walter, Uncle Lee, Uncle Earl, all were cheaters. And it seemed like auntie, mama, grandmama, cousins, they allowed the men to cheat. So growing up, I'm thinking, wow. Well, then that must be acceptable behavior.
Right. It must be a thing to do.
Yeah, I think especially in the African American community, I agree 100%. I even say, I can remember being in the barbershop. It's almost like as a kid, they almost encourage you to be a player, right?
Yeah, they
do. You're going to be on, look at Kris. He's going to be this, that, and the other. He's going to be a heartbreaker. He's going to be this. He's going to be that. So, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Right. And so now we have to learn new behavior patterns. We have to develop new skills, and we should base everything on our lived experiences, right? Mm-hmm. So if you've been a certain way and you've not had the results you want, that's absolutely ludicrous to continue with that behavior pattern. But what happens? We are so used to our familiarity zones.
And is that worse as people get older? Like what, let's discuss the dating landscape of today.
Right. So it's changing. And then I'll explain that as well. But what happens is now, and let me share this fact with you. As of today, and you all, I've been on your show multiple times and I've brought up this before before. Now, I know 27 people who are divorcing.
You said that. Now, see, the last time you were on the show, has that number increased?
Sounds like it went up.
I feel like that went up.
Yes. The first time I was on your show, it was 19.
That's what I thought.
So it was lower, yeah.
So now we're almost 30. What's going on, Khalid? Tell us.
So what happens is, as before, now that we're in our 50s and 60s, and we have raised the children, and we are becoming empty nesters, we're saying to ourselves, oh, absolutely not. I spent 25 years with this person who I should have divorced 10 years ago, but I wanted a nuclear family. I wanted the Huxtables. I wanted to be Heathcliff. I wanted to be married to Claire, and I wanted to raise Denise and Theo and Rudy and all of them. But then when the youngest, Rudy, left for college to go to U of I was like, I don't want to be with Claire no more, and I'm not going to be. Or I don't want to be with Heathcliff anymore, and I'm not. So now I'm going to go ahead and divorce, because the little life I think I have, I'm going to enjoy it. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then so what happens is this. Now you got all of us 50-something-year-olds back into the dating world. And remember, if most of us been married 20 plus years, we have not went on date or dated since our 20s and 30s.
If you do it the way you're supposed to do it. Yeah.
Correct. And so what happens is we go back to the mindset, well, this worked when I was a 27-year-old dating, but it can't, because now that you're 55 years old and everybody has been married, abused, and divorced and trying to heal, we have a different mindset. We have different expectations, right? So you take my married male friends, now they have to pay alimony. And they mad about it, because here in Illinois, if you've been married 20 plus years and you were the breadwinner, you have to pay your ex-spouse the number of years of alimony that you've been married.
Exactly.
So if you've been married 22 years, you have to pay her 22 years of alimony.
I thought that was half the amount of years. I thought it was like if you were married 10. 22 years, it'd be 11.
Yeah,
no, it's 22 years.
I got a question. I got a general question.
Yes.
Let's talk about. I agree with everything you said. Number one, but given the fact that we only have about 37% of black men married, 29% of black women married, the majority of folks out here struggling dating are single. So, because you know what I'm saying, most of us are single. So, I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and the question I have is, I had a conversation with an older Indian lady on my block and her husband. They were part of an arranged marriage.
What are you talking about them? They sound cute.
They're born in India. They're awesome. Daughters, doctor, son, made movies, went to Harvard, all that. Super smart people.
Right.
But they were explaining to me the rationale behind that is that when we pick for ourselves, imagine if you had a child and you had a son, and he's looking at all these girls, and the girl he wants has, tattoos all over the place. She's very fast. She's walking around showing her body off, and it's all these other nice girls. Now, you might be thinking as a parent, well, that's the better girl because she conducts herself like this. Her family, this, that, and the other. She has a history of this. I know how she was raised, blah, 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 financially this. But he wants that one. Right. In America, we now do this. And now, coupled with men dumb decisions, we got women also making, dumb decisions. So now men and women are making dumb decisions. And I think that we pick wrong. So I think that is the crux of the dating landscape. I think men and women pay too much attention. Women, it used to be made sense. You want stability, you want somebody with some money. But now, he could just be cute.
So my question is, okay, so when you see these people, these traditional couples who had arranged marriages and they were put together by their families for specific purposes,
sure,
right? So don't you think that maybe the superficiality of it, of the choices that are made right now, are a result of the pendulum swinging pretty hard in the opposite direction? Like, okay.
Oh, you mean like women being able to pick men and...
Well, what I'm saying is that there are a percentage of those marriages that work well, and then there's a percentage of those marriages that didn't. And some of the people where it didn't work well for them, they wish they'd gone with love, maybe. And I think that perhaps they've passed that viewpoint down to their kids or whatever, like marry for don't do what I did, do this. And maybe that's where some of that pendulum swinging comes from.
Possibly, but they have the highest, Indians in particular, in this country, Indians have the highest percentage of marriages. Asians, whites.
Now, is this because they just don't get divorced?
Whatever the case,
I'm just curious.
You can say the marriage was horrible. You can say, I'm just looking at the numbers, and I will say that love, that feeling you get is fleeting. See, they marry for, okay, he's respectable, he's honest, he's loyal, he's a provider. I've always depended on him for this. That that's foundational stuff, you'll stay for that. You won't stay if you went in under, he was great in bed. He had a bunch of money back then selling that dope. I mean, that just doesn't last.
Right. And so, Khalid, so when you look at the landscape of modern relationships and you see the reasons why people are choosing one another, how much of that do you feel is surface, and then how do people get to a place where it's more substantive?
There we go.
Okay.
Good question.
So great question. And let me touch upon what Kris said. So Kris, in our clinical industry, we have now did studies on those arranged marriages, right? The reason why you see the sustainability is because they're tied into religion and cultural influence.
Absolutely.
So if I'm strong in my religion and strong in my culture, even though I might want a divorce, I won't.
Or you're just
Even
honoring
though
your
I'm
vows.
unhappy, huh?
Happy's a feeling. You got single people unhappy, so you know.
But I'm just explaining to you that
I agree that religion is a big part of it. Religious couples stay together of any race more so than other people.
But remember, I'm addressing a specific thing, Kris, because what I don't want nobody to do is still look at stuff surface wise. So a lot of those women and husbands of those arranged marriages, they're saying that I don't want this marriage, but I'm not going to give it up because it's tied to my identity.
How are you saying? Where are you getting that part from? Why are you saying? How do you know they don't want to be there?
Because they're into therapy, Kris. They're into therapy.
So he gets insider. He knows the inside baseball.
But I'm saying, so are single people into therapy. So are, I don't.
I mean, okay. So here's the thing that I think. I'm switching gears slightly, but I talk to a lot of single women. Which always happens when you own a bar. Like,
I'm trying to figure out what they're dating for, what they're not seeing, or what men are not seeing. I don't know.
I talk to a lot of women who have basically dropped the bar on the floor, and men too, right? So
what do you mean? What do you mean?
Mostly women. I'll address women because that's what I'm a woman, so I can address that. So what I mean is that some of them are like, look, at this point, I just want somebody that I can, hang out with occasionally, hook up with occasionally. Like they're not. When they go out to date, their expectations are set for having a piece of a relationship. And then if that's what you're looking for, you will find it.
I agree. I think there's a lot of man sharing going on out here. When you say peace.
Yeah, a piece of a relationship, because that's what they've been, for some reason, that's maybe what they found. Maybe that's the only thing they feel like they can hope for. So, Khalid, I'm curious.
Do you think they resign themselves to their condition? Some people, that's like me saying, I never really wanted $10 million. Because people who got $10 million are just miserable. So I never want $10 million. Right, because money's the root of all evil.
Potentially a defense mechanism.
Some people do that all the time.
Yeah, some people do. So I'm curious as to, from the professional standpoint, Khalid, what do you think that's rooted in?
Yeah, your question.
Right. So again, one of the things when I bring up society has provided and literally forced down our throats that you will not be happy unless you are in a relationship, right? And so we've all bought into it, right? And it is some fundamental truth to it. You are more happy when you are in relationships with people, right? You are more happy when you don't feel siloed or alienated or isolated, because our natural habit or our natural need is to be around people. People bring out your endorphins. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is you need the balance of both. You need to be okay with your own company and code switch and be able to be extroverted and out with the crowd, right? But one shouldn't override the other. We all should want the balance.
We should.
Right?
Let me ask. That's an awesome point in terms of that balance. It leads me to another question. I don't know if it's a sign of the times. I see a lot of people really stressed out. Let's take our. I'll give you an example, then I'll apply it to relationships. The past election.
Right.
There are men and women who are stressed out more than I've ever seen.
People are very stressed
out.
And I've
seen, I tell people this is the most racist administration. I mean, it's not. We've had way worse if you do any research. But that's my point is how it allows them, their emotions control them. They don't control their emotions. And wait a minute. So I contrast that, compare this with, I saw an interview with Malcolm X years ago, Black and White. And he's in a talk show with a talk show host and a real racist white man and a hostile audience. For whatever reason, those three people listened to each other. No one cut each other off. They absorbed the words, repeated what they thought they heard, and answered very succinctly. And even when the audience was booing, I just saw Malcolm answering what they were saying.
Right.
We don't even communicate like that anymore. We let our emotions control us, and I don't know when that happened.
Well,
some people to the extreme.
My theory is that every single person, I don't care if you don't agree with them, if you staunchly disagree with them, everybody has a point, right?
Agreed.
And I feel personally like perspective tells the story. I can't write off anyone's perspective. So I can only learn from it. So that's why I have friends across both sides of the political aisle, because I'm just interested in perspective. And maybe I can.
You do?
Yeah, of course I do. Like, yeah, obviously. I work in a very conservative environment, right. Corporate wise. But it's, I think that right now people are stressed out because people are looking at the political landscape and they're trying to figure out how they can win. And a lot of people, particularly people of color, are looking at what's going on right now and they're saying that I can't win in this administration. And
you couldn't win in any of them.
Right, but like there's so much in your face, like kind of overt, like, okay, we're getting rid of our diversity. We're getting rid of this. Like we're basically telling you don't count. It's what's happening right now in this administration.
But they're also saying, guess what? A lot of black folks were mad at that mayor because of the illegals. Hey, guess what?
A lot of them were.
So hey, guess what? There's some illegals being removed.
And
guess what? I didn't like those pronouns. There are only two genders. Hey, so my point is, everybody's got a point of view.
This is my point. This is what I started this conversation with. Yeah. Everyone's got a perspective. Everyone has a point. And it just, my suggestion, and this doesn't, we're not trying to turn this into political because it doesn't, that'll just go down a bad rabbit hole. But in terms of relationships, everyone has perspective. Everyone has a point.
Well, my thing is they can't control their emotions when you shouldn't if you go through your job and let your emotions lead you, everyone will be fired.
Right.
So I don't understand when it comes to relationships, people have very low emotional intelligence. They can't control their emotions.
And you've got to figure out how you can win.
That is recent. So I want to know in your therapy sessions, do you see people losing it because they can't understand why someone thinks differently than them?
Absolutely. And what happens is in therapy, you try to teach people to be more emotionally intelligent. I'm trying to teach these 15 African-American men who have multiple girlfriends, who are
stop beating those women. Stop beating those women.
Hoes alone.
Chris,
you can't beat them, dog. You can't beat them.
Not all of them.
And to say, listen to her perspective.
Right.
And then by you listening to her perspective, you hope she listens to your perspective and you learn to be better partners, right? But you just said it though, we are emotional based. Yes. Men and women.
Absolutely.
Right? And what happens is now it's money to be made off your emotions. Mm-hmm. So that post I did the other day, Chris, talking about the love gurus, right?
Oh, that was awesome.
They base their money, their popularity on our emotions when it comes to relationships.
Oh man, listen, I jokingly say, brother, if I just went into the business of saying, well, it's not a business, not a hobby, of saying, whatever you say, I'm just going to tell you you're right, and say all men are just dumb, I would make a fortune.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
That's what Derrick Jackson did.
I know, but it doesn't make any sense. Like, you just can't. You learn, like, so for example, I'll give you a very personal example. My father just died, right? A couple days ago. Now, this is stressful for my relationship. And not because we're in dissension at all, but because it's something that we have to get through and it's not easy. And we'll be fine.
You'll be stronger.
But we'll be stronger as a result of it,
Absolutely.
right? And I could see where there could be tension in a relationship as a result of this kind of thing, right? But that's not what we're committed to. But you have to be on the same page with it. Like it's.
You all have a higher. We're talking about. He mentioned emotional intelligence. You all have a higher degree of emotional intelligence than your average couple.
But you really never know how grief is going to impact you. I mean, I still don't know. My father died 2 days ago. Yeah. So it's I'm committed to figuring it out. But I'm committed to figuring it out and getting over to the other side of it, right? So, but that's part of now our topic tonight is purposeful dating. And one of the things that you want in a partner is someone who can weather this kind of stuff with you. And so what do you look for in a partner, Khalid, who can get through very hard times? Because that's we're facing that now in the political climate where people feel like dejected. They feel like they can't win.
Good segue.
I'm in a time where I'm going through trauma and my husband's supportive and he's going through trauma too. He loved my father. And so how do we support each other? Like, what are you seeing and what do you think will be useful for people who are looking to purposefully date?
Right. So what happens is we pick Band-Aid lovers.
Okay.
We don't pick healed lovers. We don't pick healthy lovers. We pick Band-Aid lovers.
Right there. That was the goal.
So
right
what a Band-Aid lover is, to those who don't know, imagine when you cut your arm, right? What do? You take some ointment, put it on your arm, and you take a Band-Aid. Well, the point of the Band-Aid is to keep the dirt out. But eventually you have to snatch the Band-Aid off and let the air hit your wound in order for it to what? Heal. Right? But what happens is we're so hurt, we're so damaged, and we want that pain to immediately go away. So I go and pick somebody who feels like a soothing ointment-filled Band-Aid.
Yep, but they aren't really necessarily the right person. So,
Gina, if me and you are married, we're going through a divorce. The day after I move out the house, I go and look for a girlfriend. Why? Because I'm not used to being in a bed by myself.
Right.
I'm used to having a mate. I'm used to somebody who's going to caretake me, because I don't know what it means to caretake myself, or I don't want to know. I like having a woman around me. So before I can let the ink dry on my divorce, I already in a whole new relationship. And then the person knows I'm married, but because they like a piece of a man is better than no man, and at least he's getting a divorce. But what she doesn't realize is she will eventually inherit the toxicity that the wife had to deal with.
If he's not healed.
Remember, the husband didn't do any healing, and vice versa. Women are now going online meeting men while they're going through divorces, because they're trying to fill in the blank of their husband. Right. And the same concept is you haven't got rid of your toxicity and dysfunction that your husband had to deal with. So now you're going to transfer it to the next man.
So now tell me, what should happen, ideally?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that. What should happen is, and this has been a proven record, and people who fight me all the time eventually come back and say, damn, Khalid, you was right. Date yourself.
Okay.
Date yourself. Be the person who you would want to be in a relationship with. If you are toxic, you will attract toxicity. If you are dysfunctional, you will attract it, because that's your aura. If you are healthy and emotionally intelligent, you will see toxicity coming towards you.
Okay,
if you are healthy,
let me ask a question. I want to ask on that. What Gina asked, what should happen? I just want to make sure I understood your answer, because I thought it was an awesome question. I thought it was an awesome answer. I just want to make sure I understand. When he said date yourself, or the person, did you say the person you want to be, meaning you want to make sure you're healed, or focus inward first? I just want to know what that means.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it. So when you get a divorce, say you always blamed your mate.
Right.
It was their fault. It was their. So let me take a woman. My husband cheated on me and I got a divorce from him. Right? And I blamed him. I told all 20 of my Delta girlfriends that he cheated on me. He's the villain in that movie. But then what I tell the wife when we do individual sessions, why do you think he strayed?
Because she didn't sleep with him for 3.5 years.
Okay, calm down.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm just saying everybody plays a part is all I'm saying. That's
everybody plays a part.
No relationship dissolves because of one person. To be
clear. Absolutely.
Right. That's all I was getting at. I wasn't bashing.
No, to be clear.
I wasn't pointing fingers. That's true. I know that to be true.
Yeah. Okay, so Khalid, you said date yourself, and if you're toxic, then you're gonna attract toxic. Okay, but nobody wants to attract toxic. So how does one go through the healing process so they attract a more healed person and then have a more positive relationship?
You all deep.
Right. So what happens is, remember, even with a divorce is a process, right?
Yep.
And when you get a divorce, they make you have to come in with your financials. They tell you have to go to parenting classes. They tell you that you should do mediation. They tell you should go to counseling. Because what the court is saying to you is, this is going to be the most horrific thing you go through, a divorce. You need to be strong going through it. You need to be prepared, because not only is it going to affect your life, it's going to affect your children, your family, and your village. So that's why it doesn't happen in one day, right? And so this is the time when you say, let me go ahead and see Dr. Scott. Let me find out who I am. What traumas have I not unpacked it that may affected my my marriage?
Right.
And so that I can be healthier for the next relationship.
Right.
Are people coming to you to get healed, or are they just coming to you as a last ditch effort? There's a couple, but it's tough for people in 2025. I mean, we were told as a kid, I went to school with a bunch of nuns, and they would make you sit there and tell them what you did wrong, and they like forced accountability out of you. So I don't know in 2025 when it comes back to dating, how these men and women, I don't even know how it can be fixed unless everybody's.
Well, people need to be committed to it.
Yeah.
But you also need to know.
Yes.
But you also need to know what to do and what's possible. So back to what I said about 10 minutes ago, which is so many people have just dropped the bar on the floor, where they think that the only height of my relationship capacity is having a piece of relationship. But I just don't believe, like, I spend a lot of time talking to those people and saying that's not accurate. Like, you have to be careful about what you ask the universe for.
Right.
Because the universe will deliver on what you ask. But you also have to be ready to accept it. And you'd be ready to receive it. And in order for that to happen, you have to be healthy. Like, this harkens back to when my mom passed away in 2008. I spent a year and a half single because I knew that I wasn't in the right place to be the right partner. And then once I figured that out, a year later, I met who was now my husband, right? But I was, not that I did everything right, because I didn't do everything right. But at some point, for some reason, I was enlightened with that I needed to do that, right?
I think I dated through all my trauma.
But you know what, though? I knew that wasn't going to be healthy for me.
Right.
And so my thing is how to get people to a place where mentally they understand that, A, yes, I deserve a relationship, like a real one, right? And B, how to kick the toxic behavior out so that you can attract a person that makes sense.
Yeah, because right now, nobody thinks they're doing anything wrong.
They don't.
But the results say you are.
And what they do is they alter their expectations based on how they're fucking up, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And so it's not about that, because what you're going to end up with is a bad relationship. So I know I just threw a whole bunch of stuff in the atmosphere right now.
I agree.
But Khalid, do you have any advice for anyone who's like in that space?
Yes. So on the first session when I'm doing intake, and I asked them again, why are you in front of me, right? What brought you here? And what has gotten so bad that you are now going to pay for your healing? And I want them to sit in that question and those questions for a moment. And they was like, Doc, I'm tired. This is my third marriage. Doc, I'm tired. I got 3 girlfriends because one woman isn't enough for me. Doc, my kids are suffering because they watched me and their dad go through stuff. And so once I hear the commitment, right, the first session is one of the best sessions because you wouldn't believe how much they get out in that first session because they've been holding it in. They've been holding it in. And then let me tell you, the 3.5 years, I've never had a cancellation. Now I want you to listen to that.
I've counseled on a therapist at least 4 times because I didn't want to go see her.
Okay, that's a whole different problem. All right, Khalid, go for it. Good, keep talking, sir.
Right, and the reason why I don't have cancellations because when people are starting to feel a little valued, a little heard, a little validated, it's a new addiction to them. So I get, well, Khalid, I got to work Monday, but can we meet Friday? Sure can.
That's
so
awesome.
I even say to clients, I said, you know what? You're ready to graduate. You're done. Everything you need to do. Let's start termination sessions. Doc. No, I don't want to stop counseling. But sir, you're doing well.
You gotta
no, Doc, I don't want to get out of there.
But is it because they're finally seeing hope?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got a couple of clients. They came in with 3 girlfriends, and I call it 33 in the thirds.
Oh, Jesus.
Because 100% is, if you take it times 3, 33 in the third. So 1 girlfriend was my good lover, 1 was my caretaker, and 1 was my good sex partner. So I said, now we got to bring it down to 1 woman.
Or bring them together. Or can you afford them?
There's that.
I'm just joking. Ladies, that's
all
joke.
Those women are expensive.
I got jokes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what happens is they understand the concept that all of us are 80-20s. 80-20s. You are not going to get somebody with that 100%. But if they got 80, let's work around that 20%. Let's navigate that 20%.
Yeah.
It's funny
and
he
then
used
they're like,
that.
wow, that makes sense.
Now, it's funny he used that. I think I showed Gina, and you talk about anybody dating online. It was a overseas site. They accumulated 4,000 surveys from these people, and they asked men if they could get 80% of everything they wanted in a woman, would they do it? And the men overwhelmingly said, of course. It's just harder for men to date these days. And the women said overwhelmingly no, because they didn't want to settle.
Right.
So, which leads me back to my question in dating, and it is for men and women. How do you see people who walk in? Let's say you got a guy who comes in. He says, man, these women are just not trustworthy, blah, blah, blah. They just keep messing around, cheating on me. And then you find out that, he's getting all his dates from OnlyFans or the strip club. But I'm saying it's him, right? He's making bad choices. Or on the flip side, a woman is dating the same type of dudes. How do you get people to think, like a guy, for instance, I see it with the celebrities and NBA players, right? They keep losing fortunes because I see why they're picking. They're picking on looks, which is cool to get them in the door, but clearly you all didn't have shared values or any of this stuff.
Right.
So how do you get people, men and women, from doing that, or at least acknowledging that they're doing it?
Well, what I do is I make them face their familiarity zone. Familiarity zone is what makes me comfortable, what makes me feel that I'm in control of. So let me use me as an example. My ex-wife is a very attractive educator.
She is. I saw a picture. I'm not saying she is. You did a good job.
Right.
You're silly.
My girlfriend, or my buddy with benefits over the last 3.5 years, is an attractive educator.
Okay.
I'm attracted to attractive women with brains.
There you go.
But I have to
are
say,
you a sapiosexual?
What'd you call it?
A sapiosexual?
You have a word for everything.
I mean, that's what it
Don't
is.
she?
That's what it is. It's like attracted to
what
the
happens is this. What is the difference between my ex-wife and the girlfriend? My ex-wife was a tomboy. I'm attracted to femininity. So my new lady friend is from Georgia. So, and she's very, I don't have to tell you, right? She embraces her femininity.
She ain't like these women in Chicago.
Okay, calm down.
Right. Well, what happens is, like, I would have to tell my wife, babe, go and get your hair done. Go and get your nails done. With somebody who embraces their femininity, you don't ever have to tell them that.
No, you don't.
You don't ever have to. Right?
My nails done today.
So that's the difference. So I had to learn, though if I'm going to work within my familiarity, I got to do something different to get my needs met. So just like you said with the NBA and the NFL players, their familiarity is these girls who have been taught, trained, mentored by other women.
Absolutely.
Do this to get this.
Right.
Right.
And they get their needs met.
They do. Now, all right, let me ask you a question. I'm going to now dig into your business, Khalid.
You don't have to answer this. Gina B will dig into your business. I tell everybody, you do not. You can plead the fifth. Go ahead.
You don't have to plead the fifth. Now, my question is, like, culturally. So, do you typically date black women or
only black women? Only black women.
Okay, only so your ex-wife is black. Your current friend is black.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that's part of your comfort in that you're dating, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Sounds kind of racist. No,
but it depends on where you're comfortable. It's all about where you're comfortable. I was just curious. That was not about. That wouldn't be. Even if you said no, that wouldn't be about. I'm just curious. It's like, is that part of the comfort, right? Is that part of the foundation?
Absolutely.
I just feel like when people take their time.
Yes.
I think that really, like, it's one thing, like, there's a visceral reaction that you have to people, right? Like, damn, got to get me some of that, whatever that is, right? When I met my husband, I thought he was cute. I'm assuming he might have thought I was cute, but it took a couple months for us to start dating because we had to figure out whether
that's a smarter thing.
Like, we're, compatible on specific levels. And I wouldn't change any of it, right? Because it was a good foundation. And, like, I know you knew your Mrs. Critic for a long time before you guys decided
She groomed me.
She groomed him. Which now is a bad word.
I'm just joking.
Grooming is not good now.
If she's watching, I'm just joking with the same age. She did not.
She's like, stop talking about me.
Exactly.
But my point being is that do you, Khalid, do you feel that there's a lot of, I don't want to lead you, but okay, this is what I've witnessed, and you can tell me what you think. I've witnessed a lot of people going all in on superficialities.
Absolutely. That was, listen, and that's what I think our problem is for those who do want a long-term companion or a husband or a wife. I think we base way too much on superficiality. Okay,
but what I'm curious about is what Khalid has experienced in these 27 divorces that he's seen. Like, what's going on?
Are any of them going to make it? Look, I'm like, are any going to make it?
They're getting divorced, so probably not.
Well, again, remember, and even though I'm saying 27 divorces, to be honest, it's a good thing. And let me explain why. Yes, divorce is sad. But when you have people who say, no, I'm not going to be miserable no more.
Yeah, if they're both miserable,
love me now.
Yeah, if they're both horrible,
love me now.
Yeah, if there's nothing left, they just got to go.
They got to go. Because what happened was, Chris, my grandmama stayed with granddaddy, who beat her every day of her life, who had 5 kids outside the marriage.
Jesus Christ.
1950s. I'm so glad that a woman has a choice now to say, no, I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with that. And vice versa.
Unfortunately, many still do, though. I don't know why, but they do. Women still get abused. And I'm, with daughters, that's one area that I agree with everybody on.
Yeah.
I can't stand that. But anyway.
But remember that abuse comes from what I saw that was tolerated.
Right.
And then you add myself. Remember, an abuser picks his victim.
They do. They
pick the victim.
He
listens to your conversation. If the last 5 boyfriends abused you, Ah, she
I ain't
likes
get with that shit too.
man.
Right.
She don't like the good dude.
I mean, look, I don't, and this is okay. So this is we're in a murky little space here because what I don't want to do is victim blame, right? But
absolutely.
But what I do want to share is that, you know, to your point, Khalid, abusers do know who they can abuse.
But a lot of abused people go to the same type of dudes.
I'll tell you what, I have dated guys who later on I found out had been abusive to others. And they had never been anything close to that with me, because they know they better not ever go to sleep anywhere near me if they think that like they know I'm crazy. Period. So it's like, but not that I'm such a bad bitch, but they know, like everybody knows, like okay, pick any crime, right? Like people study, like stick-up kids study people, and they know who they can, they know who's going to be an easy target. Right.
Right.
And so I don't want to victim blame at all, because people who get abused, I feel bad for that. Like my heart goes out to them. But at the same time, abusers are very strategic about their targets.
Oh, I agree.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then what we can do to empower them is, again, reinforce this is safe. This is no judgment. Let's talk out why you felt the need that this was okay. What power did that person have over you? What was your experience that says that you deserved it? And now let's code switch that thinking. Let's get rid of the toxicity mind. And again, going back to our subject matter of dating, we got to date differently now. We got to date with a different type of purpose. And that purpose has to be, what am I going to do to make me happy? What is he going to do to make himself happy? And how do we bring our happiness together to make both of us happy? Do you hear the difference in that?
Absolutely.
If I'm happy and you're happy, let's bring our happiness together.
Which is why, Gina, I think the way you described I'll use the word courtship, I think is ideal. Because, you know, as a man, if you know, like Khalid said, if both people are healed, ideally a guy knows his vision, right? Mm-hmm. And during that process, he gets to find out if that woman's, her values align with that, and vice versa. But because we don't do that anymore, because it's now, well, he looked good, I'm attracted to him. And we've had women on this show, or guys on this show, what are you attracted to? And they all say these beautiful things.
Talk about gray sweatpants.
God-fearing, they don't right, gray sweatpants, God-fearing, all of this. They say all these values. But as soon as some no-good dude comes in who looks the part, he gets sex, he gets this, he gets that.
Absolutely he does.
So you really weren't honest with yourself.
Well, but
and I've seen men do it too. They'll date. If she was cute, she had to be cute in the face. She's low in the waist with some cheeks. Hey, I was on it. And then I would wine and dine, and maybe they give you some, but it was unrequited, right? So requited.
Unrequited.
Thanks, Gina B.
You're welcome.
I felt wrong saying that. Anyway, it was I wasn't getting anything back, but I went through 10 of those before I'm like, it's me. I'm the one doing this.
Right, you are. My question is it, Khalid, I'm just curious, is some of this about what people feel they deserve?
Oh, hell yeah. We all think we deserve more than what we do.
No, but I mean, maybe
I want to hear the professional answer.
No. What I'm asking is it that people think they deserve less than what they should?
Hell no. Black folks?
No.
We all think we deserve the best. We think we deserve Mr. America.
Let's ask the professional.
We tend to date under. We lower the bar every time.
That's what I'm telling you.
We lower the bar every time.
That's what
and
I'm saying.
that's why I'm in business.
Right.
That's why I'm in business. That's why 27 of my friends are divorcing.
So wait,
this is why I think people undershoot. I think people shoot under where they should be.
You gotta help me out.
What?
Both of y'all. If you got 27 people,
right?
Who shot under?
Maybe all of them.
Both on. Okay, if I got Me and you getting a divorce. Who shot
Maybe
under?
54 people shot under. But my point is that I like just given what I hear with people saying, "Oh, I just want." When you say "I just want," to me that means that you're settling.
You should. Settling's not a bad word to me.
Well,
I settled on my house. I was happy.
No, but
settled alone. I'm happy.
I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that it's. Where are you conceding though? Like. If people are saying that I just want
what if I went through life and said
25% of a relationship?
What if I said I went through life?
Do you not think you deserve 100%?
What if I said I went through life and I wanted Halle Berry and a woman that looked as good as Halle Berry making my normal salary right now?
Okay, if you're being reasonable.
Even though but I'm telling you, even though there are men and women like this, even though she can command a guy making that looks better than me, taller than me, makes more money than me, all this, but I think that's what I deserve. That's black folk to me.
Okay, let's ask the professional. Khalid, you say what?
So what happens is you can have a Halle Berry. Look at Halle Berry's relationships. As even though she's extraordinarily beautiful,
she's doing this.
Look at the men she chose. So it's not out of bounds to think you can date a breathtakingly attractive person. But when you have to figure out while you're courting and dating, what are their 20%? And are you okay with that 20%?
You know what? I like that. And you know what, Khalid, I'm writing that one down. Are you okay with that 20%? Because I love that. I love that. That was the most. Because people, they want everything, but you got to concede something, right?
I mean, everyone concedes. Like real talk, like but the concessions can't be specific things like how they treat you, how they feel about you, how they want to get through things.
Shout out to Boosie.
Hi, Boosie. We got some things here that I want to address. Okay, so
because we only got a couple of minutes, I want to keep Khalid.
So, Jackie, Denisa. Could it possibly be that other cultures hold the couple accountable in their marriages, whereas the African American culture, Jackie Denisa,
she sounds very mature.
Whereas the African American culture simply states, "That's none of my business. They grown. That's their marriage."
Absolutely, and that's my sister since kindergarten. She's absolutely right.
She's whoever that is way more mature than me and everybody around.
Love her.
She's awesome.
But remember, I said earlier, it's cultural and religion.
Right.
It's not. And when you put those two together, that's a strong presence. Even though they may be unhappy, what keeps them connected is my values.
Yep.
It's my value. I asked an Indian woman who used to work with me, I said, if your two daughters, because they live in America, right? They live in Chicago. If they wanted to date an NFL and an NBA black basketball and football player, would you let them? She said, no, Khalid, it's not disrespectful. And I said, tell me why. Because these men would be rich and they would love your daughters, you know? She said, no, my daughters are going to marry Indian doctors like I did, my mother did, my grandmother, and keep going backwards.
You know what?
It's non-negotiable.
And they don't even care who's in office.
Absolutely. They're going to win. But the thing is, realistically, like, I just, and we got to end because we're at 8, but I feel like people need to understand that I'm trying to be eloquent here. Despite this climate, despite this political climate we're in, despite anything you're going through, whatever, there are ways for you to win.
Yes.
And
say that again, Gina B. Say that word.
There are ways for you to win.
I love people who try to win.
Even if you don't see a clear path to it right now, like, don't get discouraged because there's always a way.
Right.
And you have to, but it's going to be within you. And it's not going to be the way anybody else wins. Like, you can't win the way white girls win or white boys win. You got to win the way you win.
Right.
And so it's all about figuring out what your strengths are and how you can contribute. And once you figure that out and what that is for you, then you'll not only win in life, you'll find a good relationship that is meaningful to you, that will be successful for you. But you've got to be introspective about it. That's what I think.
Wow, that was awesome. Now, Khalid, you're going to close out. I got 20 seconds or something to say, but you got to finish.
Okay.
I was. It wasn't as good as that, but when it comes to dating with purpose, I was saying you got to look at it like a grocery list. Like, if you go to the store without a grocery list, and not enough
You will
money,
end up with all
and
kinds
not
of
enough
shit in
money,
your cart.
and not enough money, you're gonna buy something that you didn't want or need,
Right.
and you're gonna be unhappy. But Khalid, close us out on some advice on how you can date with purpose. I'm gonna thank you now because
Thank you so much.
I hear the closeout music coming in, but close us out of the show.
Our producer is
Okay.
like shutting us down. Go ahead.
Okay.
Like the
All
Grammys.
right, real quick. When you're dating, I want you to, or you're about to get ready to start dating, go and grab a journal, right? Go and grab a journal. And then for men, if you have a daughter, look at your picture of your daughter, face your daughter, and say that, wow, I want to treat the woman I date like I would want somebody to treat my daughter, right? For women, I want to date some man how I would want the man, how I want my son to date the woman. Now, somebody might say that sounds kind of perverse, but no, if you love your child, and this is one of the ultimate people that you love, you want them to have an agape love. You want them to have a kind love, a genuine love, right? Why wouldn't you want that for yourself?
Absolutely.
Let that be your bar.
Can't believe I sometimes though I warn these guys against my daughters. No, I'm just playing. I think that's awesome. This was an awesome show, Khalid.
Thank you.
You
so
once
much.
again always impressive. Always, I think it's the voice.
Yeah,
I think
it's
he
the
can tell.
voice, but no, it's the knowledge.
I
It's the
almost think
knowledge.
I think he can tell
And
me
the
anything.
voice.
You ever seen? Wait a minute. You ever see me like disagree like with Chris? And I'm like, well, there's the voice. Yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be the voice.
No, it's a voice.
Anyway,
and the
hey
knowledge.
man,
It's a
blessings
combo
to you.
meal.
I gotta have you over. You gotta come have a cocktail
Please
or
do.
something.
Please.
We'll
show
talk
up.
offline. But thank you for being on the show. Thank you for putting up with me,
And me.
all the time. I love you. You're doing an awesome job, and best to your practice.
And,
Thank
and
you.
good luck to that beautiful daughter of yours.
Absolutely, the superstar. And if anyone is asking any questions, Gina and I go back and check them out later on.
Really more
anyway,
here.
peace and love. We'll have something real salacious next week.
We will.
I haven't really
We're
gotten on
not in a
anybody's
better
nerves in a
mood.
while.
Thank you for tolerating me tonight.
Exactly. Peace and love, Gina B. We all love you. Reese, good job in the booth.
Always.
And to you all out there, thanks for coming. Tell somebody about the show. Follow Kris and Gina. Tell a friend to follow Kris and Gina. Share
Thanks
the
to
show.
our spouses for dealing with us.
Exactly, because it's hard dealing with me anyway.
You know.
Peace and love. We out here like last year. All right, Khalid.
Take care, family.